Welcome back to Sip the Tally Films. I'm your host, Coach Evans, and today we're going to respond to comments. Normally, I drop something on my community tab and ask people to put questions there, and I respond to them in video form. Well, today we're going to do something a little different. I'm going to respond to comments from my post-draft wrap-up, and I also have a special shout-out for a few people. Roll the intro. So I appreciate you guys for coming back. But before we get into the comments, we have a special announcement. We have some new members of the Patreon. And what they did was they went over to patreon.com/sipthetally and they joined the Patreon. 4 new members. James Green is the newest member of the Sip the Tally Wall of Fame. We also have Reedies, who is a newest member of the Game Manager. JT41 is a new game manager, and Davon Johnson is our newest gunslinger. So I appreciate you guys for joining the Patreon. And if you want to be like those guys, go over to patreon.com/sipthetally. And what's going on over there is a ton of game film that's being dropped on our newest draft pickups. Today alone, I uploaded 3 games for Bilal Kone. It's been a bunch of film dropped for every draft pick in front of Kone. And also, I just pulled the game of LSU versus Texas A&M so we can look at Emory Jones versus the 2 bookends versus Texas A&M. Now, it's in the process of being put together, but stuff like that is what's on Patreon. So if you want to be a member, go over there and join that. But let's get into these comments. First comment comes from Big Reg. And again, these comments came under the video where I did my post-draft wrap-up. And he says, this is one of the drafts where you hope everybody makes the roster. Now, I'll say this. When, all throughout the draft process, I never thought that we would be making all 11 picks. Or the fact that all 11 picks would even make the roster. This is one of the things where, you already have a stacked roster. And you're thinking, like, what are we going to do with, how is 11 guys going to make this roster? This roster is too stacked for, 11 new guys to make it. You look at every position and it's just guys on top of guys. So, like, where are they going to go? And you see, only position where we were limited at was tackle. You only had 2 tackle bodies, and so we addressed the O-line. But I think, looking at the guys that were picked up and then looking at some guys that were just kind of dangling on the roster, I think the guys that we picked up may push those danglers off the roster. But time will tell. Minicamp, training camp, time will tell. And the fact that some of the guys that are danglers may get put on the practice squad, and I think they were good enough to get picked up by other teams. And then some of these guys that we drafted will eventually stay on the practice squad, so which in turn means they'll make the team. So we'll see. Appreciate you, Big Reg, for dropping that comment. Next comment is from Jawayne224. He says, my only issue was trading when Joshua Former was on the board and not drafting Fitzgerald at kicker. So I'm going to assume, and you know what happens when we assume, that Jawayne is a Florida State fan because both guys he mentioned are Florida State products. Josh Former is a guy that I would have loved to add to our interior defensive line rotation. Fitzgerald is probably one of the top 3 kickers on the board, being the Miami kicker is one, Fitzgerald's another, and the kicker that we got being the third. So I'm content with the kicker that we got. I wouldn't mind Fitzgerald. I wouldn't have mind Borealis, however you say it, from Miami. Either one of those 3 I'm fine with. Hopefully we got the one that'll be more consistent. I've known Josh for a long time. Would have loved to have the opportunity to coach him, but he chose to go to a different school here in town. So I've known he would be a dog for a while. Had the opportunity to coach his older brother for about 2 to 3 weeks. He was a basketball player, tried football for about 2 weeks, was a natural at receiver, but just, football just wasn't for him. So I've known about Josh for a while and would have loved to have him in the defensive line rotation in Baltimore. But I get where you're going, but I mean, picking up Peoples where we picked him up at, I don't think you could have gotten a better value other than Mike Green where we got him at. So I'm cool with what we got, but I do understand where you're coming from, Joanne. I appreciate you for dropping that comment as well. The next comment comes from Jay the Six. Jay says, glad EDC added pieces to the O-line. He added 3 to be exact. Will be dope if the HBCU prospect can start for y'all at left guard. Not familiar with his game, but that's what I have you and Jared Green for, the education. So I appreciate you, and shout out to Jared Green for that as well. But what I'm gonna say about Carson Vincent is he's a project. What I envision for Vincent is wherever Ronnie Stanley goes, Carson goes. Whatever film Ronnie Stanley watches, Carson watches. Whatever drills Ronnie Stanley do, Carson does. He should mimic Ronnie Stanley for the next year or 2 years. And then when Ronnie decides that, hey, I've had enough, Carson, here's your opportunity. He's not ready yet, even though he flashed a little bit at the Senior Bowl. But I was watching some of his tape versus Auburn today, and that game is on Patreon as well. Carson versus Auburn, Alabama A&M versus Auburn. And it's unfair to judge him on that game because even though he tried to hold his own, none of the other 4 guys on that line had any business on that field. And so he was trying to do his job, plus maybe help out some other guys, which made him look even worse than he was. And so that's a hard game to even judge him off of because he was the only offensive lineman that remotely had a chance to be on the field with Auburn. And it just was a bad look. But going back to Jay's comment, he says, this honestly may be the best draft if the first couple of picks somewhat go right. As of now, I apologize for the cat comment. I said it during the watch party, but it ain't no telling what Jay talking about because he say so much funny stuff. So I don't know what comment you talking about or remember what comment you talking about. It is what it is, man. But he said so much funny stuff. He said it doesn't erase the history, but he's trying to fix the O-line, and that's all we can ask. Great recap. So I appreciate you for watching the recap, Jay, and the comment as well. But whatever comment you talking about, I probably was laughing and don't even remember what you talking about. Appreciate you, Jay. This next one comes from JB Buzz J. He says, SIP facts. EDC did his thing. A lot of options and really addressed as many needs as possible. And I agree with that. O-line, 3. Cornerback, 2. Interior defensive line, 1. Pass rush, one of the best. You wanted the third safety, got the best. Kicker, because we don't know what's going to go on with Tucker, got that. Got a receiver, maybe not the one y'all wanted, but got one. A returner, a legit returner, got that. Addressing some stuff, and still went BPA early. So address needs while still doing BPA. What more can you ask for? What more can you ask for? Let's keep rolling. This one is from Rome. He says, I never understood why people thought we wouldn't or couldn't use 11 picks. We clearly needed to improve the depth around the team, especially at offensive line and cornerback. Like I just said, 3 offensive linemen, 2 cornerbacks, because we don't know what we're going to get out of JADIR. TJ Tampa didn't see the field last year other than a little bit, and you just never know. He says, why not use the picks to create competition and improve our depth in the process? Exactly. I think fans are too accustomed to the Ravens keeping all of their drafted players for 4 to 5 years. Now, I'm going to say this, and I hope it makes sense. Lamar Jackson is on a mega contract. Kyle's about to sign a mega contract. we're going to have to cycle young players in and out. We're going to have to. Because we can't pay them all, because we're going to be paying so much money to Lamar and Kyle and a few other guys sprinkled in there. So we're going to have to cycle young players in and out. It's just that's the way it is. We're going to have to draft good, cycle them in and out on they rookie deals, and cycle another set in. That's just don't be the way it is until Lamar runs his course, till Kyle runs his course. I mean, because we got Madubuike on a big contract. We got Roquan on a big contract. You just got to cycle them young players in and out. That's just the way it is. The guys you probably going to have to pay eventually going to be up front. And then all your little spot pieces, receivers, DBs, or whatever, other than Kyle, you just have to find young guys to be around them until, the process run its course. And so that's why you get depth and you have competition and you play the best players while they're young. And I agree with you, Rome. We need depth at those positions. I agree 100%. And then this last one is from Bradley XJ6UF. He says, not the biggest fan of day 3. We constantly traded back for almost nothing or waited while better guys at the position of need were taken off the board. It just seemed like we didn't like any of the guys, and we should have traded some of the picks for better ones next year if that was the case. Definitely would have preferred to move up a few spots and grab certain guys. I feel like, and it's no shade. I ain't trying to be funny, Bradley, but I feel like this comment kind of contradicts itself to me. And if I'm wrong, you can let me know. Under this video, you said we kept trading back because there were guys we didn't want on day 3. So why would we trade up if there were guys there that we didn't want? Unless you meant trade up to day 2, if that's what you meant. But if there were guys in day 3 that we didn't want, why would we trade up to early in day 3? That's why I feel like it's a contradiction to me. But as a whole, I feel like we did okay in day 3. Now, are all 11 of these guys gonna be good? I highly doubt it. But I feel like we addressed needs. I feel like we threw our darts at the board, and I feel like we got guys that's going to put our best foot forward and producing a pretty good football team. I feel like EDC did his job. Now it's up to John and the staff to do their job. And so that's how I feel like we are. So that's the last comment I'm gonna talk about today. I appreciate you guys for dropping comments. I think this is something I'm going to do more of going forward. So if you would like your comment featured, put it up under the video. As I drop other videos and content going forward, put comments up under there because I'll be doing more of this. If you like this style of video, let that be known as well. And if you want to be a member of the Patreon, go over to patreon.com/SipTheTally and join one of those tiers. And I appreciate everything you've done for me. Every video you watched this weekend, every comment that you dropped this weekend was awesome. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. If you called in, I appreciate it. If you listened while we was calling in, if you comment in the chat box while the call in show or doing the draft stuff, I appreciate you. I want to say thank you. I can't thank you enough. And again, like, comment, subscribe, and share, and help this channel grow, man. Peace and love, y'all. I'll see y'all later.